This festive season, enjoy cooking meals while conserving the environment using Ebenezer energy-saving stove,
which use volcanic stones for heating and cooking your meal as fast as you can. The stove also comes with an addition of a solar and lights.
These can be for home or commercial use, and they are at a discount, for these stoves are proudly made in Uganda. For more information on how to access us, please contact us on the addresses on your screen, and do not miss out on this opportunity.
I think in some ways the tax structure doesn't favour the purchase of new vehicles. When we talk about the tax structure, there should be more incentives for bringing in greener vehicles, which, there's a lot of big engine vehicles in Uganda. They create more emissions, damage the environment. In a lot of developing markets, it's going the other way. People are buying lower, smaller engine vehicles to save fuel economy, make it more greener. And there's lots of tax incentives for doing that, and I think maybe the Ugandan government could start thinking in that way as well. Well, I think firstly, you'll get a vehicle with all the latest technology. So you'll find that, most new cars nowadays, they're going to have dual airbags, side impact airbags, whereas a 10-year-old vehicle, you'd be lucky to get a driver's airbag. So I think from a safety point of view, that's advantage number one. These newer engines are more greener, they're more fuel efficient. And of course you don't have those big maintenance costs for at least the first 3 years, if you consider that usually a set of rear brakes don't need to be looked at until maybe 40,000 miles. A spark plug's 40,000 miles. So I think the first 3 years of a new car is extremely cost effective for anybody. Yeah, I think if you look at the statistics that I've seen, if we go back, say, the last 5-6 years, and I think, we have to take 2020 out a little bit because of COVID and the shutdown. I think there's been growth, not very much, but there's still growth. You could say that the growth of the new car market is similar to the inflation every year of 5%. I couldn't give you the exact figure, but there is growth, and I think that's quite a good sign that there's solidity in the market in the automotive sector. Yeah, I think yes. I mean, any sort of subsidies will be very welcome to our private organisations when we're importing these high-value products. But I think they could look at certain tax incentives to private customers buying cars of certain emissions that are released, or you could maybe look at the way that the banks give access to finance on the lending rate. For example, central banks, I think, just recently said that they've gone down as low as 7%, but have they transferred that to the commercial banks? Well, we know they haven't. So I think the government should be stepping in to give better finance deals to the private sector, whether that's the retail buyer, like me and you, or the corporate customer. I think access to finance is a big challenge here in Uganda. Well, you've come at the right time, actually, because we've just recently signed an MOU with Stanbic, particularly on our Ford products. We just recently launched the new Raptor, and we talked about Stanbic Bank. So basically, you can borrow up to 90% on a new vehicle purchase. So that's only 10% deposit. I haven't seen that in my 8 years of being in Uganda anywhere else. So that's a plus point, number one. And up to 5 years lending. Most banks are usually 2 or 3 years, up to 5 years. And then there's a very, very low rate. Yeah, there's been a dip in sales and profitability. I think we're all sort of in some ways sort of fighting for one customer. You know, we're all fighting for the same people. And when that happens, then profitability always goes down. You know, I think a lot of major fleet companies, you know, they've been laying off staff and they're reducing their revenue budgets and that, you know, so it's affected us. So we have to come up with new strategic ways to get around that. You know, we have to always constantly look at what we do different than the competition. You know, we can't just sit in an office and sell cars. We've got to be a little bit more innovative. I think the digital age is everything now. I think we've got to focus more on that than the traditional marketing way, newspapers, and you know, I think we've got to get closer to the clients than ever before and be a little bit more emotional about the way that we deal with the whole process of selling cars and looking after clients when they come for service. I think the world's changing and we need to be one step ahead all the time.